Hello, everyone. It's me, Rob Trader. We're taking the initiative. We've got another pre-recorded Top Cut match for you. Today we've got Buku versus Suardo. Buku has been, I think all of his matches played so far have been pre-recorded, just because of how things have worked out. So you're probably familiar with this one if you've been keeping up with these, but he's running Sabine. Not any new cards from Twilight, just good old solid Sabine with all the good stuff in there. Suardo's deck is Palp1 yellow, and there are two Palp1 yellows right now in the top 8. There's his and Royals box, and Royals is actually very different. This one is running the McClunky package with the Kintan Intimidators, Salacious Crumbs, Cardell Spacers, Basines. Also running, now there are two of them, into Bosk and Syndicalakis for 5s, and he's also got Cad Banes in there. Only on 2 copies of Vader, but 2 copies of Barrage as well. So running a bit low on some of the more traditional power cards in this archetype. But we'll see how it ends up working out for him. Let's get into game 1. Again, thank you to Serraf for recording this one. So there's the Kintan Intimidator, and it's not going to have much use into the space arena, but that McClunky does have use there, being able to take out that A-Wing right away. And Suardo gets the initiative, which in this matchup you're actually fine giving away the initiative if you're Buku, because of he runs things like the P-38. But knowing that he's a Kintan Intimidator can be risky, because now this Intimidator is set up to exhaust Cassian next turn if he wants. But Suardo does decide to play a Cloud Rider with no ambush, giving Buku the chance to take initiative here. Picks up a second Cassian, and he's going to resource it. His hand right now is not particularly impressive. Doesn't have a 4 or anything bigger. He can play out both these units and potentially play both Metal Ceremonies. Like, for example, if he goes like ECL, Sabine, clear Cloud Rider, and then he gets an attack off with Cassian and an attack off with Sabine, he could play double Metal Ceremony on 3 units. Although the Intimidator may, stay ready and just exhaust Sabine. All right, and Cloud Rider goes into Cassian, which prevents the ECL Sabine play. All right, there's an R2. Going to help Buku find some of his bigger late game stuff. Puts one on the bottom. And Suardo has a play to kill Cassian by going for this P-38. Or for Cloud Rider, actually, yeah. And Buku going to dirtle a little bit, ping with Sabine there. And baits out the Kintan attack. Here's the Sabine flip, but she gets met by a no good to me dad, so the Kintan didn't really matter. This means that these Metal Ceremonies are dead. For this turn, at least. There's a Sabine to fill out the board. Suardo needs to start drawing cards here. He's down to 2 left. But Buku needs to start hitting base here, because he's only done 5. And we're on 5 resources. A good rule of thumb for Sabine is that you want to have done more damage than the number of resources that you have at any given point in time. Suardo's facing a difficult resource decision here. I think he's gonna end up resourcing the P38 here. Yeah. Cloud Rider is a good immediate answer to Sabine, and he's gonna take it. R2 gets another attack off while he can. Notably, Buku did not seem to pick up anything big. He just picked up a Spec Force Soldier this turn. But he left that card on top with R2, so it must be good. And Suardo is going to throw away this Intimidator to draw another card. Doesn't attack with it first. Trying to keep tempo here. Cassian out of the resource row. That's a good play for Buku. And he's going to double Metal Ceremony on R2 plus Cassian. That's big. That could be what Buku needs to start taking over here. And oh, he's got the Poe off the top deck as well. I might not even resource as Buku. All right, Suardo going to 6 resources. He's got resupply, which can get him to 8 next turn. But he doesn't have a... I mean, his only steal at this point would be R2. So he's going to play that resupply. And then he's got no other plays to make. Buku, of course, has the 3rd Metal Ceremony in hand. Equip your rebels. Let them go and face the night. As the song goes. And Suardo is going to get to Palp1, but it may be too little too late. If he steals R2, Sabine is going to be tagging for 3 plus 4 from the Metal Ceremony. Cassian is going to be tagging for 5, 6 with the Metal Ceremony. Which is lethal. And then Poe is going to be hitting for 8 as well. And Suardo is just going to call it. All right, let's take a look at sideboards here. Suardo's got he's got a couple things that could come in here. I think he's probably going to want Waylays to deal with a potential Wing Leader, probably Gamorrean Guards, probably the 3rd Vader, maybe even a 2nd Maul to come out on 7 and recoup some board control. On Buku's side, he's got a lot of things for the long control games. He's got Honorable Sacrifice, Timely Interventions, Darksaber potentially could be good in this matchup. Delphi Patrol Wing as well gets around a lot of things. All right, getting started with game 2 here. This time Suardo actually opened up the Now There Are Two of Them combo into Bosk, which could be really strong in this matchup. Suardo decides to go for R2 instead of Sabine here. Probably maybe to play around Cloud Rider. That would be my guess. But Suardo has the out anyway. Now there are 2 of them, Bosk. Bosk is, of course, going to clear this R2. Which leaves Buku in a pretty rough spot. Like, he can go for Sabine here, but she's vulnerable. And Suardo's contemplating allowing Buku to claim here. Nope, he takes it himself. This game's already looking a lot better for Suardo. Although K2 here could be a comeback mechanic for Buku. ECL still up. K2 could clear Bosk. Could clear Salacious Crumb and survive. Bosk is gonna take out Sabine. Oh, considering a different way to do it. Yep, Cloud Rider. Okay. Guess that allows him to retain health on the Bosk or retain the attack. So then, I mean, yes. Then if Sabine gets flipped, he can go Crumb and then Bosk attack, and that clears Sabine. Suardo looks like it's gonna pass here, and then we see K2 hard cast. All right. I think Suardo just, I mean, trying to bait out the Sabine play is harder now. So we'll see what Suardo does. I think there's a good chance he runs over the K2 with the Bosk. He might also be considering like Crumb bounce into Salacious or into K2. Let's see. Ooh, Bosk to base. That's interesting. Says, yeah, I'm not gonna get that Sabine play off, at least not now, but I am gonna get value out of this Bosk. So now he has an opportunity to go Crumb, threaten the Bosk attack into Sabine next turn, but still get initiative, or force Buku to take initiative and trade the K2 into the Bosk. So I think the attack was a wise move there by Suardo. And Buku decides to go to base with Sabine, allowing Suardo to get initiative here. But he does have the Metal Ceremony, which saves him from Bosk for the time being. And he picks up the Darksaber as well. All right, there's Waylay. Probably going to forestall the Darksaber here by forcing the ECL K2. Because now the Sabine is vulnerable to Bosk. But it's not Buku's only play. He could go for the Darksaber. He could go for like Honorable Sack Sabine into Bosk. I mean, actually, if he plays Darksaber, he does become immune to the Bosk again. But he is going to go for the less greedy play and just ECL K2. And takes the damage on K2. There's a Bazine. I don't even know if I take any of these. Maybe you take Darksaber just for the... Yeah, I mean, the potential of it coming down next turn. The rest of these aren't particularly threatening. And now, does the Sabine attack or does Buku use the Honorable Sacrifice? I think there's no real reason to use Honorable Sacrifice here. Or I guess maybe there is. No, I don't. I think the benefits of keeping Sabine outweigh the potential benefits of Honorable Sacrifice. All right. He does just straight up attack with Sabine. So we go to the next round. Suardo has the no good to me dad. Which can deal with Sabine for the time being. All right, continuing on. Sorry. This is me on a different day. My voice may sound different because I am a little bit sick right now, but we're gonna keep going on through the rest of this match. So I was saying Suardo has the No Good to Be Dead, which can block off Sabine for the time being, but he does need to find a way eventually to kill her. Suardo's still thinking about his resource here. It looks like so is Buku. Buku's going to end up resourcing a Cassian, so remember that for later. He's got Poe in hand, which can hit for 5. Or which can come down to the table for 5, sorry. And let's see what the play is going to be. It's going to be, yep, that No Good to Be Dead. And let's see what the counter is from Buku. Suardo's getting close to being able to flip Palp1, and if this Poe comes down and gets stolen, that could be the kind of change Suardo needs to send this one to a game 3. Buku is looking like he's going to spend 5 for something. Could be Poe or it could be the Cassian he's got. It's going to be the Poe. All right. Suardo's just going to waylay it. And he's running low on cards, but he can play out this. He can play out the Salacious Crumb. You can use Palp1 to draw more cards. But he's close. He's on 7 or 6, so he'll be on 7 next round. He'll be on 8 the turn after. So if the Poe comes back down next round, then it's very easy to Palp1 something into it and then steal it the turn after. Ooh, Vader picked up. That's massive. And just in time for 7 resources. Does hurt to give up the P38. It's a good card, but Vader could be a game changer here. And yep, Sabine's still exhausted, but she'll be ready next turn. There's an R2 from Buku. And Suardo Buku, sorry, maybe trying to bait out a Vader here. Going Vader into, and it looks like he's gonna, if that is his goal, it looks like it's gonna work. Suardo's exhausted 7, he's still thinking about it, but yep, there it is. Ooh, okay, he's got Super Laser. He doesn't have the money to throw it away right now. But he's going to pull, looks like Kintan Intimidator and a second Bazine. Now, I don't know what the target is here. Like, Poe seems like it, but it could be K2. In fact, I think I might actually choose K2, even though, because you could steal either Poe or K2, but if you make him play K2, then he can also play the A-Wing, even though Poe is probably the bigger threat. And it's going to be Poe. All right. Ooh, Wrecker picked up off the top. ECL has already been used, though, so. Yeah, and one of those Bazines has to die. Vader's going to roll over Sabine. So now if Buku wants to go for the Cassian, or if he wants to play his K2, he's not going to risk getting run into by Vader. He does risk Suardo setting up a Palp1 steal, though. This one's going a lot better for Suardo than game 1. Alright, so he's going for A-Wing, which means he's out of Cassian money. He's still not quite out of K2 money. Ooh, Salacious Crumb going to be bounced here. Now let's see. Does the K2 happen here? Buku has done a good job of playing it slow so that if he plays the K2 and the Bayesian runs into it to get a damage on him, then he gets to take initiative. So Suardo's going to take initiative. One thing he can do is like run Kintan into K2. So that way he gets to set up a steal without having to take a hit from the K2. But he is going up to 8 this turn. That's Palp1 money. And that, yep, exactly that Kintan play that we talked about is what's going to happen here. So the K2 gets exhausted by the Kintan. Can't attack base. But it's set up perfectly for Suardo to steal. Or if Suardo wants to be, you know, really methodical to get McClunkied. Nope, he's just going to steal it. Wrecker's an interesting play here from Buku. It can take out Vader or it can take out K2. And it's, you know, not easily answerable immediately if it takes out Vader. Suardo's playing it slow here. And it looks like Buku is too, dropping red 3. He's got a Cassian held up on the resource row as well. Suardo's going to keep playing it slow with this Salacious Crumb, just trying to box out all the actions from Sabine. And he forces the Cassian flip here. Buku, he had one more Dirtle left in him, which was the Sabine Pang, but decided against it. So Vader or Palp1 attack plus a throw could clear this Cassian right now. And he is hitting for 4. So I do think you want to do that if you're Suardo. He's going to do it. And it looks like he's going to throw the Bayesian. Yep. Ooh, Suardo picks up a Change of Heart. That's big. Suardo's very close to just being able to win this one. Yep, so there's McClunky, clear the red 3. Crumb comes back down. Vader presumably is going to walk into the base here. And we're now tied on base damage. But remember, Buku's got, you know, less health than Suardo does. So Buku's only got 10 left. Suardo's showing 9, 13, 14 right now. Plus Change of Heart, plus this Maul, plus Overwhelming Barrage. So I think this one's probably going to be over this turn. I don't see much of a route for Buku. Unless he's got maybe a timely intervention in the resource row. That could be something. Okay, he does. So if anything's going to keep him in, it's this. Because he can now come in, blow something up with Wrecker, and then ambush something else. So he's going to blow up Vader and then attack over Palp1. No overwhelm damage there. Suardo still actually has it this turn. He goes K2 into base. Salacious into base. That's 5 plus Maul into Wrecker is 5 more. You know, he's also got some more conservative lines if he doesn't see it or if he wants to play around everything. But with one resource against Sabine, there's really not much that you're worried about. I guess I mean, you're worried about honorable sacrifice because that potentially messes up the play, and we can actually see that Buku does have it. If he's an honorable sac, R2 into K2 or into Salacious Creme even prevents the lethal line. So he's got Barrage to forestall that if he wants. Can he? Does he have a? So if he goes Barrage on K2, K2 goes up to 6. And then he could kill like R2 plus A Wing. Then he's got 6 attack K2, which would be 4 overwhelm plus 3, 7, 8. No, so he's not quite lethal if he goes for Barrage. All right, he is gonna go for the Barrage, and targets A-Wing, and he's got 3 more. Could be fully R2, could be Wrecker. He's going 1 and 2. So now he has a Salacious Creme kill set up on either one of them. R2 is just going to go to base here, not going to use the honorable sacrifice. K2 going to run into R2 here. And then Salacious Creme. Okay. So before the Salacious Creme happens, the second R2 comes out to replace the first one. Seems to be an unlimited number of R2 understudies here. And then the Crumb's going to come back out. And I think this one's going to be it. Suardo's got lethal this turn. Okay, I guess Buku's going to going to drag it on. So he's going to live with 1 health for the time being. Yep, because R2 dies there, K2 dies. They're, I guess, resolving the R2 ability. All right, and 3 to base. And then the 4th. And as soon as the unit comes down, it's going to be Maul, and that's going to be it. Okay, so it is over this turn. And we will play a game 3. All right, here's game 3. Buku opens with the A-Wing. And Suardo's got a Bazine. Yeah, and it looks like the Bazine's going to be the play. If only he was going first. Would have been so good going first. But even going second, like, it's not bad. You do see, like, multiple 3 costs, but you get to get rid of your least favorite one. It's hard to tell which one that is in this hand. And it looks like it's going to be Wing Leader. Yeah. I think that's a fair pick. Ooh, McClunky picked up for Suardo. That's big. A lot allows him to answer the A-Wing. He's also got to be expecting Fighters for Freedom this turn, which is harder to deal with. But I don't think he can deal with both in this turn, but he can deal with one for sure. He's got to figure out what to resource here. Oh, is he going to resource the McClunky? It can't be, right? I'd probably resource either the second No Good to Be Dead or this Change of Heart. Looks like it's going to be the second No Good to Be Dead here. Apologies for the, choppy video quality. I'm not sure whose end it's on. It might be my system. It might be the video, but it might just be what I'm looking at, and maybe the actual video is smoother. But sorry. So the A-Wing is going to get an attack off before it dies, assuming it is going to die to the McClunky. It might not, because if we see Fighters for Freedom here, Suardo does have plays that deal with fighters, and it looks like ECL going to be used early to forestall the McClunky or potentially the Palp action. I'm not sure if Buku comes out of there as a net winner of that exchange. He does get a 2-for-1. He gets the Bazine and the Cloud Rider for this Fighters for Freedom, but he has to give up his ECL. And ECL can be a big playmaker late into this game, especially with so many low health units on Suardo's end. Like, imagine that last game if on the turn that Suardo had the PO, if he still had the ECL up, could have made a difference. Suardo's got a bunch of good cards here. He's trying to figure out which one to resource. Not having ramp hurts a little bit here. You definitely would like to see that. Looks like it's going to be the McClunky, seeing as all of the scoundrels have died. So he may not have an out to this A-Wing, at least yet. But he does have a way to start taking over the ground arena here. Good morning, guards. Don't have Sentinel yet. But Boss could come down next turn, clear the K2, turn on the Sentinel. But it looks like Suardo passed a couple times early, so he was not able to. So he had to concede initiative here. I think maybe he's probably playing around like a Darksaber and was waiting to No Good to Be Dead as Sabine if the Darksaber came out, and then only after Buku played the K2 did he decide it was worth it to go for the guards. All right, honorable sacrifice on K2 here. Looks like he's just going. Oh no, he's going into the guards. Takes the damage, not the discard here. And Buku's got a second K2 in hand to follow up. And Suardo is just going to waylay this A-Wing while he has a chance. Kind of risky. But he's got the No Good to Be Dead in hand to stop a Sabine play. Suardo's running low on cards, but he's sticking in the game for the time being, at least. I think he's thinking about using this No Good to Be Dead on the K2 now so that he can get initiative, as opposed to using it on the Sabine once she flips. and conceding initiative. And all right, he is going to go for the no good to me dead. Here, Sabine flips and Suardo gets initiative. Suardo's got... He's got some tricks he can pull off here to clear this board, but he's definitely playing from behind. He's only got 3 cards in hand. He may have to use a lot of them to deal with this board. And Suardo's got some space units that... Or Buku, sorry, has got some space units that Suardo is going to have a hard time dealing with. So what he can do here is Bosk into either Sabine or K2. It looks like it's going to be Sabine. I probably would have gone into K2 because that sets up... I mean, it's more risky, but it sets up potentially like McClunky into... Or does that actually work, or is Bosk technically not on field? I'm not actually sure how that works. If Bosk would be able to trigger off a McClunky on himself. But anyway, we'll see, I guess. It's Buku's action. He's got these space units, red 3, A-Wing. He's also got Fleet Lieutenant, which Fleet Lieutenant will allow him to immediately kill this Bosk, which just prevents another unit from being on board. Looks like Sabine's going to go to base while she's still alive. Suardo can kill her by throwing the Bosk here or by going McClunky. It's his action. I think this one is starting to look a lot more like game 1 than game 2, I fear. Suardo's taking a lot of damage, and he's on the back foot tempo-wise. He's still thinking about his action here. I mean, this one is a big one. And Suardo's just going to take initiative here. Possibly going for like a change of heart K2 play next turn. But in response, Buku is going to flood the board with spaceships in an R2 on the ground. Suardo picks up a Vader, which he is at 7 this turn. So we'll see. But it looks like it's just going to be that change of heart play, which coupled with the boss takes out the Sabine. So that is a pretty good play, but it might end up being too little too late because these space units are about to rain down hell. Forward base from A-Wing, then 3 from red 3, and then Buku's got the 4 of Cause in hand. So we could be potentially looking at this game being over this turn. Suardo does have he can kill the red 3 by playing McClunky here, but then he has no way of getting rid of the K2. The plan, I think, was to use Palp1 to throw the K2. So I think he might have to bank on. I mean, he saw the 4 Cause when he Bayesianed early, so he knows it's there. He might have to bank on it being resourced by now, or put himself in another weird position. Next turn. Looks like, all right, so he's going for the McClunky. Does Bosk's ability let you damage K2? Oh, he's going to damage the AoEing. I was going to say, because if he damages the K2, he can steal next turn. He can also steal the AoEing next turn. Fleet Lieutenant, R2 into base. Puts Buku in effectively the same position. If he hits all 4 with 4 Cause here, that's game this turn. If he hits just 3, he's got lethal with Sabine peg next round, which means Suardo would have to draw exactly Reinforcement Walker, and even if he did that, he's still got to deal with this army of ground units. So it looks like Suardo's just going to call it here. Congratulations, Buku, for winning and moving on to the top 4, where he'll face off against Royal Sabak, also on Palp1 Yellow. So we'll see if he can repeat this success there. Our other top 4 match is going to be Jonah Niklas on Anakin Blue versus Eroth on Sabine Green. So stay tuned for those in the coming days, and remember to always take the initiative.